She heard scratching inside the walls, but she lived alone. A woman was home alone in her house when she heard a strange noise coming from inside the walls. As the sound grew louder and more intense, she became increasingly scared. Was it a mouse or something more sinister? With each passing moment, the scratching continued, and when she finally found the source of the noise, she was both relieved and horrified. But before we continue, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more creepypasta stories like this one. Also, if you want to read the story, the link will be in the description below. It all started when she heard a strange scratching sound coming from inside the walls of her home. It was a sound that no one should ever hear, and it sent shivers down her spine. She tried to ignore it, hoping that it would go away, but the scratching only got louder and more intense. As the minutes ticked by, she began to feel a sense of dread wash over her. What was making the noise? Was it a mouse or something more sinister? The scratching continued non-stop, and she couldn't take it anymore. She had to find out what was going on. With a flashlight in hand, she began to search for the source of the noise. She looked behind pictures, under furniture, and even in closets, but she couldn't find anything. Just when she was about to give up, she noticed something strange. There was a small hole in the wall, and it was coming from there. With trembling hands, she reached into the hole and felt around. Her fingers touched something soft and furry. She pulled her hand back and shone the flashlight into the hole. To her horror, she saw a pair of glowing eyes staring back at her. A low growl came from the other side, and she screamed in terror. She stumbled back and hit the floor. The growling continued, and then she heard a crash. Something was coming through the wall. She could see the outline of a large shape moving towards her. In a panic, she grabbed a knife that was lying on the table and held it in front of her. The shape came closer and closer until suddenly it stopped. She could hear its heavy breathing, and then she felt a cold, wet nose nudge her hand. She screamed again and slashed at the air. The shape let out a yelp and backed away. She could see a pair of sad eyes staring at her. Then it did something that made her blood run cold. It licked her hand. She screamed and scrambled backwards, falling to the floor. She looked at the knife in her hand, and then at the creature in front of her. It wasn't a monster. It was a dog. But how did it get in the wall? And why was it growling at her? She slowly got to her feet and approached the dog. It was a big German shepherd, and it looked at her with a sad expression. She knelt down and petted its head. It licked her face and wagged its tail. She couldn't believe what she was seeing. A dog that could fit in a wall. But how? She looked around the room and noticed a small gap near the ceiling. She got up and went over to it. She could see a set of stairs leading up into the wall. She climbed up the stairs and looked around. She was in a small space between the walls, and it was clear that the dog had made a nest for itself here. It had been living in the wall all along. She felt sorry for the dog and decided to keep it as a pet. She named it Scratch, and it became her constant companion. She never heard scratching in the walls again, but she did hear happy barking. And that's the end of the story. If you like this creepypasta, make sure to subscribe for more. Also, if you want to read the story, the link will be in the description below.